Welcome back to WION World is One. You're watching Speed News with me, Vidur Kathuria. Let's get started. US President Donald Trump has said that talks with Iran were ongoing amid high tensions. This after Trump had warned that big US warships were heading to Iran. He threatened consequences if no deal is reached. Meanwhile, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has said that his country was ready for diplomacy with the United States. Araghchi added that any talks must take place with mutual respect. US and Iranian officials are expected to meet on February 6th in Istanbul in order to resume nuclear talks. Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, has met the new head of the US diplomatic mission in the South American country, Laura Dogu. This comes less than a month after the US toppled Nicolas Maduro. Venezuela's communication minister says the meeting between Rodriguez and the US diplomat that took place at the presidential palace is part of the working agenda between Venezuela and the United States. The two countries have reached a deal to export up to $2 billion worth of Venezuelan crude to the US. Last week, Rodriguez announced a proposed amnesty law for hundreds of prisoners in the country, a move long demanded by opposition and human rights groups. US President Donald Trump announced a trade deal with India that slashes US tariffs on Indian goods to 18% from 50%. This is in exchange for India halting Russian oil purchases and lowering trade barriers. Trump announced the deal on social media following a call with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He claimed that India would now buy oil from the US and potentially Venezuela. The US president also claimed that Modi committed to buy more than $500 billion worth of US energy, technology, agricultural and other products. PM Modi has thanked Trump after the announcement of tariff reduction. Donald Trump says his administration may soon have positive news on efforts to end the Ukraine war, expressing optimism about progress in talks with both Russia and Ukraine. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said Russia has largely observed a ceasefire on Ukraine's energy infrastructure and has not carried out any targeted missile or drone strikes in the last 24 hours. However, energy facilities in frontline areas have come under fire. Last week, both Russia and Ukraine have said they halted strikes on each other's energy infrastructure but disagreed on the time frame for the truce. US President Donald Trump said that Mexico would stop sending oil to Cuba. Cuba and the US are reportedly in talks, although the exchanges have not yet evolved into a formal dialogue. Trump said the US had begun talks with the highest people in Cuba days after declaring it to be an unusual and extraordinary threat to US national security and threatening tariffs on any nation that sends oil to the communist-run island. Cuba had previously denied any talks with the US. As the US House of Representatives takes up legislation that would end a partial government shutdown with a final vote, experts suggest it would be in the Republicans' best interest to work with Democrats on new restrictions on federal immigration agents. This as they claimed Republicans were losing the public over aggressive ICE tactics. The fatal shooting of 37-year-old Renee Good in Minneapolis on 7 January sparked protests across the US and increased scrutiny of the ICE agency. It has made thousands of arrests since Trump returned to the White House, often in public places, leading to a number of clashes with protesters. Gazans have begun crossing into Egypt for treatment after Israel partially reopened Rafah border crossing. Egyptian officials say around 150 people were due to leave the territory and 50 supposed to enter it. More than 20 months after Israeli forces have been fighting in Gaza, closed the crossing. The border crossing with Egypt is Gaza's only gateway to the outside world that does not lead to Israel and is a key access point for both people and goods. Libyan Army Commander Khalifa Haftar has met with Pakistan's military chief Asim Munir in Rawalpindi to discuss military ties. Haftar said that him and Munir exchanged views on matters of mutual interest with particular focus on security dynamics in respective regions and professional cooperation. Meanwhile, the Pakistan Army chief reaffirmed the country's commitment to strengthening bilateral ties. This comes after Munir visited Libya in December, one which is reportedly linked to a $4 billion arms deal which seeks to enhance defense ties. A major tragedy was averted in Pakistan's Karachi, where a fire that erupted at a commercial building was quickly extinguished. According to Karachi Deputy Mayor Salman Murad, the fire erupted at a building near the mobile phone market in Sadr Business District, fairly close to the site where a deadly blaze killed dozens of people last month. The police have said the fire started from one car on the building's 7th floor parking level and spread to two other vehicles, which was eventually brought under control. However, the cause of the fire is yet to be determined. Former US President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton have agreed to testify before the House Oversight Committee as part of its investigation into convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. This after Republican lawmakers have moved towards holding the Clinton couple in criminal contempt of Congress. France has finally passed its budget for 2026 after months of political wrangling and attempts to topple government. Lawmakers rejected two no-confidence motions on Monday, clearing the way for Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu's government to pass the bill without a parliamentary vote. The budget includes measures to bring France's deficit to 5%, and it also boosts military spending by $7.7 billion. France has been mired in political turmoil since President Emmanuel Macron called a snap election in 2024 and lost his parliamentary majority. Costa Rica's President-elect Laura Fernandez pledged to lead a government of national unity and continue the populist policies of outgoing President Rodrigo Chavez. Fernandez had offered a senior cabinet position to Chavez starting in May. Fernandez, a 39-year-old political scientist, won Sunday's election with 48% of the vote and a legislative majority. She called for political rivals to set aside campaign divisions and focus on national progress while promising a profound and irreversible change in a new constitutional era. She also emphasized her commitment to vulnerable groups and maintaining economic stability. Thailand is all set to hold a general election on February 8th, one that will determine the country's next government. Pheu Thai, the Liberal People's Party, and the Bhum Jai Thai Party will contest the elections. Meanwhile, the Progressive People's Party has extended its lead in the opinion polls. However, it remains to be seen whether it can win enough seats to form Thailand's next government. An Air India Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner has been grounded after the pilot reported a possible defect in the fuel control switch. The 9-year-old aircraft was operating a flight from London to Bengaluru. According to a statement by the aviation safety advocate group Safety Matters Foundation, the crew of the Boeing 787 reported abnormal behavior of the left engine fuel control switch. Engine fuel control switches have been at the focus of the probe into the fatal crash of an Air India Boeing 787 jet in Ahmedabad in June last year that killed over 260 people. Thousands of devotees witnessed the annual float festival, during which the float carrying the deities of Goddess Meenakshi and Lord Sundareshwar is pulled around the Mandapam at the Mariamam Tipakulam. The event marks the culmination of the 12-day Thai Pusam festival. Every year, the beautifully decorated float is ceremoniously taken around the premises. The day also commemorates the birth anniversary of King Tirumalai Nayak. At least 16 people have been found dead outdoors due to prolonged freezing in New York City. The freezing temperatures follow last week's winter storm. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani has said preliminary findings have indicated hypothermia to be the cause behind at least 13 of these cases. Firefighters in Argentina's Chubut province battled relentlessly to contain wildfires that have scorched an estimated of 50,000 hectares. Rescue crews hoped for lighter rain and cooler temperatures to ease their struggle. The blazes, fueled by strong winds over the weekend, forced the temporary closure of 2 provincial roads, overwhelming firefighters who were often forced to retreat for safety. Patagonia forest fires have destroyed an area more than twice the size of Buenos Aires. This has stirred criticism over austerity measures under President Javier Milei that have significantly cut aid resources. Asian markets climbed, led by a powerful rally in South Korea, where the Kospi jumped over 5% and triggered a buy-side trading halt after gains in index futures surged past thresholds as confidence grew on a US-India trade agreement. Japan's Nikkei and Topix also rose sharply, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng and China's CSI 300 moved higher. And Australia's ASX 200 climbed amid expectations of central bank action. The strong sentiment followed news that US President Donald Trump and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi agreed to cut tariffs and expand trade, boosting risk appetite and stock markets across the region. US equities were also higher overnight, helping lift Asian sentiment. Gold prices surged more than 3% on Tuesday, rebounding from a near one-month low as investors race for a lack of key US economic data during a partial government shutdown. Spot gold jumped to about $4,837 an ounce. The Labour Department confirmed the January jobs report will be delayed, adding uncertainty to markets. Expectations of Fed rate cuts in 2026 has supported bullion. Elsewhere, silver, platinum and palladium also posted strong gains, extending a broad rally across precious metals. Oil prices held mostly steady as markets weighed signs of a possible de-escalation in US-Iran tensions against a firmer US dollar. Brent crude was little changed, around $66.36 a barrel. Prices fell sharply on Monday after President Trump said Iran was seriously talking with Washington, easing geopolitical risk and prompting profit-taking. Traders are also watching expected nuclear talks in Turkey later this week. A stronger dollar capped upside, making dollar-priced crude more costly for other buyers. On trade news, the US announced a tariff deal with India tied to reduced Russian oil purchases, and OPEC agreed to keep March output unchanged. The US dollar held on to recent gains on Tuesday, supported by stronger than expected US economic data and shifting expectations around Federal Reserve policy. Despite lingering concerns about another government shutdown, the dollar index was little changed after a 2-day rise. Gains followed a surprise return to growth in US manufacturing, while easing geopolitical tensions after US trade and diplomatic moves also underpinned sentiment. The Australian dollar advanced ahead of an expected rate hike by the Reserve Bank of Australia, while the yen stayed weak amid election-related uncertainty. The euro and sterling edged higher, and cryptocurrencies posted modest gains. A coalition of non-profits have urged the US government to immediately suspend the use of Grok, the AI chatbot developed by Elon Musk's XAI, across federal agencies, including the Department of Defense. The appeal follows a series of controversies involving Grok, including recent reports that users used the chatbot to turn photos of real women and children into sexualized images without consent, which were then shared at scale on X. The groups warn that Grok poses serious risks to data security and national security, saying that AI fails to meet federal safety standards for government deployment. Snowflake has entered a $200 million partnership with OpenAI to integrate advanced artificial intelligence models directly into its cloud data platform. The deal will enable AI agents to handle complex workflows, allowing enterprise users to query proprietary data in natural language without writing code, while maintaining strict data security controls. The move comes as enterprises shift from basic to AI chatbots to integrated AI systems amid intensifying competition in the data and generative AI market. Italian biathlete Rebecca Passler will miss the Milano Cortina Winter Olympics after failing a dope test. The 24-year-old has been provisionally suspended after testing positive for a banned substance for days before the start of her winter home games. Italy's anti-doping agency said Passler tested positive for letrozole in an out-of-competition sample. It can be used in the treatment of breast cancer and can also control the effects of steroid use. She was due to compete in the biathlon starting Sunday with the mixed team relay. With the new Formula One season just over a month away, Mercedes' George Russell has claimed that the UK-based team is now ready to win the world title. The 8-time F1 Constructors' Champions caught the eye in last week's first test in Barcelona by boasting both impressive speed and reliability, and Russell believes he has been handed a car capable of winning the World Championship as Mercedes head into a new era of Formula One as title favourites. While her Olympic return remains unknown, US skier Lindsey Vonn's career is being celebrated in a new comic book. Tidal Wave Comics has added Vonn to their Female Force series that celebrates women who inspire, empower and break barriers, which will release on February 11th. In 22 pages, Vonn's journey from amateur to Olympian and pop cultural staple is chronicled in the colorful biography.